summary is a nice segue to mentioning the textbooks for the course. There are 2 required textbooks, and other than that, there will be PDFs that are made available for free on Canvas. One of these textbooks is called Environmental Economics, a very short introduction, which is in the excellent Oxford University Press series on very short introductions. So there are 100 or more of these books now, which are about various topics. Pretty much any topic you could imagine, like Middle Eastern history, a very short introduction. So they're usually about 100 or 120 pages long, and they give a great overview that actually includes a lot of detail and kind of expects readers to be intelligent. So it's not a waste of time. It's not dumbed down, but it will give you a good, quick introduction to a topic. And they're usually very well written too. So we'll read this book from Stephen Smith, Environmental Economics, a very short introduction. It's about $12 on Amazon. I think it's about that much from the Temple bookstore as well. And then we'll read Keith Peterson, A World Not Made for Us. And that book was published this year. It's available in paperback now. It's about $32 in paperback. So hopefully these textbooks are not going to break your bank. You do have a couple of weeks to get them because the first 5 weeks of the course, all of the readings will be in PDFs and posted to Canvas. So you have a little bit of time to get them, but do go ahead and make plans to get them, either order them online or check with the Temple bookstore about getting them from them. I want to talk now about the grade breakdown in the course. So there will be a number of reading responses. About every week there will be 1 reading response, which will be on the assigned readings and videos for that week. Basically, the function of these is just to encourage you to do the readings and watch the videos and to check that you did it, okay? Sometimes the questions I ask provide a little bit of guidance about what to pay attention to in the readings or the videos. So there's some educational value in that as well, where they encourage you to think reflectively about some question that's raised by the readings or the videos. These are graded solely on completion and basic effort. So as long as I can tell that you did the readings, then you get full credit. Even if you get the wrong answers on the reading responses, even if some answers are incorrect, as long as it's clear to me that you actually did the reading and watched the videos, then you get full credit for these. Okay. If the answers are so far off that I'm not really sure, I can't tell that a student did the readings or watched the videos, then I will give less than full credit. There are 4 exams in the course of the course, and they total to being worth 40 points. These will be online exams. They'll be open book and open notes. You will have a window of time in which to take them. So usually you'll have at least 2 or 3 days in which you can take them at any time during those 2 or 3 days. Once you start an exam, you'll have a limited amount of time. There's a time limit for taking it. But you can fit when you take the exams into your own schedule. Because you'll have 2 or 3 days in which you can take them at any time. The exams are unlike the reading responses in that they are graded on performance. So the exams are a way for me to tell whether or not you really are picking up the concepts and other content in the course, whether or not you understand the course material, whether you're getting it, simple way to put it. And it's a way for you to tell whether you're getting it. So our first exam, I think, is in the 3rd or 4th week of the course, and that will be a good chance for you to, do your best, but it's only worth 5 points. So whatever score you get on that exam, you can use that as a kind of indication of whether your study methods are working or whether you need to do things differently and so on. The exams will be mix of multiple choice and short answer and essay. So they might be a variety of different kinds of questions. And I'm basically just trying to test like the same questions, types of questions that I asked in the reading responses, and things that I've really emphasized in the video lectures are mostly going to be what is covered in the exams, almost entirely. I'm not going to ask questions about things in the readings that aren't asked about on the reading responses or talked about in the video lectures. And then finally, there are two more big components of the grade for the course. One is participation. So there will be discussion boards posted about every week, and I would like for students to engage with them and to make the most of them. So at the end of the semester, I'll basically count up how much participation each student had on the discussion boards, and we'll assign a participation grade based on that. If you post a paragraph of good content to every discussion board that I set up, then you should be fine for the participation grade, basically. I'll post some further guidelines about how, or a kind of rubric about how I will grade the participation on the discussion boards. But for now, just know that you want to participate as much as possible, and about one paragraph's worth of good material, whether all at once or in replies and comments and stuff on other people's comments, is a good thing to shoot for if you want to get an A on this part of the grade. And then finally, there's a final paper. And the paper topic is entirely up to you, with the qualification that it must be about some kind of ethical question, some question about what we should do or what it would be better or worse to do. You'll have a much better sense of what counts as an ethical question as we get a little deeper into the course. But it has to be something about, some kind of ethical issue or question, and it has to be about something having to do with the environment. Okay, and again, that's very broad. So you'll have a lot of options, and I encourage you to pick topics on topics that are things you are personally interested in or that you have worked on before in other classes, for instance, that you'd like to work on some more. That's just great. I encourage you to pick a topic that's personally interesting and important to you. The final draft of the paper will be due really very much at the end of the semester, but a few weeks before that, I will ask all students to submit a paper proposal, which is basically just 1 to 2 pages of notes that indicate what topic they're going to work on, what theses they are thinking about arguing for. So basically, like, what's going to be the main point of their paper, or what are they going to be trying to convince the reader of in their paper. That's a thesis. And a little bit of an indication of what sources they're considering using. So maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 sources that you found on that topic that are good sources. I mean, articles in books or magazines or journals, or books themselves. And so, some good sources. Web pages alone are kind of dicey, blogs are kind of dicey, but journal articles or even sometimes newspaper or magazine articles can work, and books are good for sources for the final paper. But so these are the things I would look for in the paper proposal. And then when I receive your paper proposals, when they're due, which will be a few weeks before the final papers are due, I will very quickly reply with some comments about what you're thinking about working on. I may make some suggestions about additional sources, a few sources to read, or ways to narrow down your question or your topic to make it more interesting, or more feasible for a paper that you're working on just within a month or a few weeks. So basically some initial feedback about your final paper to try to help you produce a really good final paper and get a good grade, and get a good grade in the course. So that's the plan, that's the grading breakdown. And I think that takes us to the end of what I need to say about the organization of the course. If you have questions, you're very much encouraged to send me an email. And again, here's my email on the screen. Please don't hesitate to write, to get in touch, or to visit in office hours. And best of luck, best wishes for the course.